All right, are you ready?
Yeah? This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. Bold, bright and everlasting. You can find us at 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia. Welcome back to another episode of Carlisle Studios. My name is Hal Hunter and I'm lucky enough to be here at Hunter & Fox in, where are we? Alexandria?
Close enough. Beaconsfield, they're calling it.
Beaconsfield in Sydney, Australia with Stevie. Introduce yourself.
Oh, fuck. I've been, Stevie. Been tattooing, now 18 years in shops.
Yep.
But I done my first tattoo, I think, when I was like 17, in my dad's house. On my dad, thinking I'm doing everything fucking hectic and then realising, fuck, what the fuck have I done? But anyways, that. And then, before that, just working in warehousing.
Yep.
Fucking driving forklifts and just doing fucking means to an end shit, you know? Straight out of school, just to pay for a tattoo kit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which at the time, like, you couldn't even fucking... It was like writing a letter to some cunt in fucking New York.
Yep.
And then waiting for a letter back and then sending a money order. And then this is the one company that will serve you if you're not a fucking professional.
Yep.
You know? But so it was a long road, but kind of self-taught. Obviously got a lot of help along the way. There's a lot of people that fucking I have a lot of like respect to for the help that they gave me, because I was a scratcher, bro. I was the definition of some cunt in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they didn't have to help, but they did. So fucking, that's me. Without without those cunts too, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and being able to do it this long, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you pretty much answered my first question, which was how long have you been tattooing and how did you start?
Oh yeah, fucking yeah. Well, that's it, bro. Yeah, it was just like I knew. So I'll go back a little bit further, like just quickly, because one of the boys being like I started going to shows, like hardcore shows, and you know, to basically like I grew up in houses. I was out west, whatever. It could have been better, could have been worse, but I didn't want to be there. You know, it's full of junkies. It's full of just fucking shit. I just hated it. So for me, going to shows, it was a fucking escape from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck. Lost my train of thought. But I should have stayed straight edge. Fucking hell, what have I done? What was the question?
It's relaxed, don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about like, who are you? When did you start tattooing? How did you start?
Bro. So I'm at shows, and you know, obviously, like,
that's all right. Keep going.
it's like straight edge fucking here at the time, and this is like I'm talking 97, 98. Straight edge here wasn't even a fucking thing, you know. So the boys at the shows would always go, "Oh, Stevie Edge," you know, because there was two Steves. I happen to be the straight edge one, and the other one wasn't.
Yep.
Right. And then the same cunt that gave me that nickname, which everyone just started calling me, goes, "Listen, you're drawing up things for all the boys. Why don't you fucking start doing it? You can tattoo them, you know." And I'm like, fuck. Like I never even thought this was possible, you know. Back then it was a bit more hectic than a lot more hectic than it is now.
Yep.
And trying to get into tattooing was not easy unless you're involved with other shit and other people, and you know, it just didn't seem like a reality. So then this cunt put in my head. I was like, fuck, all right, sweet. I'm going to get this shit. My dad helped me get it. I was like 17, done my first job, saved the money for that. And that was the push. And then further from that, the help I got from the people I mentioned.
Yep.
And finally, and most importantly, is my missus, because we were living on $500 a week.
Yep.
Just the two of us, you know what I mean? And like, fuck, bro. Like, if she'd stayed at home and not moved to be with me, it would have been a lot easier for her. Let's put it that way. It wasn't an easy thing to do, to come move here and be with me. I'm a storeman.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, nah, I can't take the risk of fucking tattooing. What if it doesn't work out? I've fucked not only myself, but now I've got her. Like, I can't do that to her.
Yeah.
I can fuck my life, no dramas. You know, like that, I've proven that. but I don't want that on my head, you know what I mean? And she's like, nah, just do it. You know, like you've been doing it. Like I'm working a warehouse fucking 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yep.
Coming home tattooing all night. You know what I mean? All night, fucking making it sound better than it is. But like I was doing 1 or 2 tattoos at night after work. And it was literally that push. She said to me, no, do it.
Yeah.
And I fucking lied through my fucking teeth to get my first job, as I was told. And they said, if they look at your portfolio and they hire you off that, then fucking it doesn't matter. If you can do that, you can do it. If they're hiring off it, they're hiring you off it. So I was like, all right, sweet. You know, like, and I'm fresh as, like, fucking a bit nervous and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get the job.
Where was that at?
Fucking weird. That was down at Kaleidoscope in Bondi.
Oh, we drove past that last night.
Yeah, bro, yeah. So, like, before that shop was there, literally directly across the road, it used to be there.
Yeah.
And it was a shoebox.
Yeah, wow.
Like this room that we're in now, like fucking, I don't even know how to, like audio-wise, like how to describe the size of this room, but a fucking small room with a fucking ceiling fan, no aircon, middle of summer, every cunt from the beach, all the tourists, you know what I mean? Fuck. Brutal, you know, lining up. You get to work on a Saturday morning, 20 cunts lined up.
Fuck.
You know, and you don't have a lunch break. You don't say no to a tattoo. It's done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking, I was there for 8 years. And then, that went fucking south for myself. I was just kind of like, fuck, you know, various things happened I wasn't happy about. And I was like, all right, it's time to do the next thing.
Yeah.
And lucky at the time, the opportunity came up to work here. And fucking, you know, like, fucking.
So how long you been here?
10 years in January just gone.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So that's why I say 18 years, because 18 years of shop tattooing.
Yeah.
And I should mention, like, I worked at one shop prior to that, but to put it diplomatically, the way that went down was, like, I was told one thing how it was going to be, and then I found that it was going to be another thing at that shop. So that lasted for fucking half a second. You know what I mean? So I don't really count it. And then obviously the time before was in the kitchen and fucking at my old man's, you know what I mean? And it's just like, fuck, I'm not going to say I've been tattooing for 20-something years when I was fucking like scratching horrendous fucking shit into cunts' arms. And I was like, I'm tattooing cunts' hands and shit, thinking it's fucking nothing. You know what I mean? Going, yeah, fucking sweet. We'll put a towel down on the couch. That'll do. That's fucking clean enough. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, there was no knowledge.
Yeah.
The internet was fucking barely a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was harder.
Yeah.
It was harder.
No, I didn't come up during that time, but I came up under Bobby and he was the same, you know, like started tattooing in his bedroom at home. And I've only found this out more recently. Like I tat this guy, his name's Kane, he gets tattooed at the shop all the time. Mm-hmm. I've done all his head, all this, and he's got Charles, the apprentice here, not here, but he's up here working.
Yeah.
He's been blasting over Kane's arm.
True.
And it's like, it's the most like cartoon sleeve and all this. And we used to always ask him like, oh, who's done it? And he's like, oh, I got it done by this bloke like 17 years ago in his bedroom, down in Mordialloc, all of that. And I was like, was there like a home body piercing studio in the bedroom as well? Because I knew Bobby's mate was doing body piercing from his bedroom. And he goes, yeah. And I go, was it Jesse? And he goes, yeah, it was Jesse. And I'm like, that's Bobby. And like, so he's been getting tattooed for years now at Bobby's shop.
What the fuck?
Not even knowing that Bobby like did the original tat.
Fuck, what a classic.
Yeah, fucking wild.
It's a small fucking world, eh? Like, you know, in general, you know, like when you're in this little fucking like microcosm of fucking tattooing, especially, fuck me dead. Like how everybody knows everybody.
Yep.
You know, one person fucks up, everybody's gonna know, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. You know, there's a few cunts that fuck up that don't fucking get found, but their time comes anyways. But, you know, like, fuck, it's a weird little thing. It's crazy how things like that happen because it is so fucking small.
It's small, man.
And worldwide. Even though it's a massive thing in the scale of tattooing, in the scale of the world, it's fuck all.
That's like, I've only started realizing that recently. Yeah. Like we'll go into it more later, but like I've always been really conscious of like, you know, like Bobby's always tattooed longer than me. You guys have tattooed obviously way longer than me, you know, and regardless of whether you think you're doing good tattoos or you might be doing the best tattoos, it's like there's always someone who's done it longer, probably can do it better, you know.
Oh, so that's a fucked thing though, because I think like for me, I look at yous and I think fucking I can never tattoo like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long I've been tattooing or what I do. I've done the same fucking tattoo 20,000 times for the past 18 years, bro. Like I'm not breaking any boundaries, you know. I'm very lucky that there are people that like that.
Yeah.
You know, and want that to look the same way, you know. Like, and obviously you progress in that.
Yeah.
But like fucking some of the tattoos that I see happening now, like the time that I've tattooed versus the skill level of some people now does not mean a fucking single thing. Because there's some fellas that have been tattooing less than half. I saw an apprentice, a girl, I think she's from Melbourne. I don't know what her name is. It literally only come up on my fucking Instagram the other day. And I looked at her page, she's an apprentice, and she's doing fucking the cleanest fucking tattoos. And I'm going, if you're an apprentice, you're within 4 years of tattooing, right?
Yeah.
I've tattooed for 18 years, and some of those tattoos that I'm looking at, I'm not even fucking attempting to do. It's a no. I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. So, yeah, fuck, the time, I guess it counts for something in some ways, but like some of the shit that yous are doing, like, and how solid and how fucking, like things are just so refined. Things have become more refined.
I think that's like,
yeah,
that's probably the positive side of like, fuck, you could learn to tap from home these days, I reckon. The knowledge out there is...
1,000%. A fucking monkey could do this shit, you know what I mean? And like you said, now with the internet, fuck, like that's... You're set.
Yep.
You're set. And you're not having to go do a fucking drug run just to get a tattoo job because of who you're working for anymore.
Yeah.
Cunts are walking in off the street thinking they're just going to get a job. Like, it's just easy,
That's
you know
it.
what I mean? Like, which... Maybe, yeah, in a way it's good, you know, like, but in another way it kind of took, like, something changed, you know what I mean, which was essentially, I guess, a bad thing, but, like, I don't know, like, it had something to it too.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you as well, like, I mean, this is how I sort of wanted the conversation to go, is like, it's free flowing, we're talking about different shit, it's not just like one question after the other.
No, mad.
We will go back to the straight edge stuff later for those wondering. But like, I feel like myself is like, I've tattooed for 9 years now.
Yeah.
You know, and there wasn't a specific time, but it's like now, you know, there's guys in the shop who are, you know, nearly 10 years younger than me and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's still guys in the shop older than me, Bobby, Rudy and stuff, but in certain situations, I'm feeling like I'm older.
It feels fucking weird that, eh?
Yeah.
Like when you know there's generations below you, that's fucking weird.
That's it. And I'm like, I definitely think, you know, like when I was learning to tattoo, it was more difficult than it is these days. And I'm sure the generation before me, which would be you, is like you had it way harder than I had it.
Yeah, and the cunts before me, you know.
Yeah, so I think like every generation, you know, like the industry progresses and...
for sure.
You know, all of that. But I wanted to sort of ask you, like, well, we've spoken about it a little bit, but like, what do you think the main changes from when you started tattooing to now is? And do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Or is it sort of like, is it just neutral? It is what it is?
I think there's good and bad changes. I think in Sydney, the legislation that tattooing is governed by, I think, is fucking way too hectic.
Yeah.
Look, like I don't want it to sound negative, but I do think that when things become easier for people, work ethics, appreciation of getting to fucking draw on people for a living, make like decent money out of it if you put effort into it.
Yeah.
The appreciation of that is lost a little bit because you don't have to fucking go through nothing. You know what I mean? It's just, it feels like, I watched an episode of Miami Ink and next minute I'm fucking on the show.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck? But maybe it's just me being a fucking old jealous cunt because it wasn't like that for me. You know what I mean? So I really don't know. So, but, you know, there's positives from it. And I'm sure there's been some great tattooers that back then, bro, like some of the shit that people had to go through and the shops that you had to work in before you got into a good shop or whatever, like people these days starting, they're not going to have to, they don't even, some of them are not even going to know about it.
Yeah.
They're going to think it never existed. You know what I mean? Like whatever tattoo shops used to be attached to.
Yeah.
And most of them, you know what I mean, back in the day.
Yeah.
it's so different now just because of all the laws and stuff, you know. So like people that are involved in anything that might be a little bit seen as sus in the eyes of the law and fucking whoever else, they can't have the opportunity to own a shop or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm sure that they work it out in their own way, but that's fucking their business, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know, like, you know, I guess it stopped a lot of violence and stuff like that used to happen, you know, people getting threatened and stuff like that, but you know how, like we were sort of talking earlier, you know, like you do certain jobs and you have to deal with so many people after a certain amount of time. Everybody knows somebody, and it's not worth fucking going down a stupid track of fucking dramas with anything really, let alone tattooing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And luckily, like we've been here for fucking X amount of years, and we've never had a trouble. Everything's always been good, and you know, it's about respect too.
Yeah,
you know. And I think that's what back in the day, like when dramas would happen, it's because someone didn't have respect.
Yeah.
And maybe the repercussion for that disrespect was a bit excessive, but it kept things in check.
Yeah.
You don't have 20 cunts opening a shop fucking like on the same street.
Yeah.
Out, you know, like it happens in our brand. Who's going to do anything about it? No
That's
one.
the thing.
Unless you're willing to go get locked up. For fucking what? For this? Fuck, just, yeah, there's certain things that are different, you know, but like I said before, the quality, that's come like fucking Australian tattooing, not just Sydney, Australian tattooing, in my opinion, and I'm sure there's a lot of old cunts here that are going to disagree with me, but fucking who cares? These young cunts, even ones before me, I say young cunts, fuck, like I'm in comparison to the old ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we all know who they are, but they reinvigorated fucking tattooing in this country, because this country was so fucking far behind when I started.
Yeah.
It was fucking ridiculous. And whoever the fuck thinks that they were killing it before that, right? They probably weren't. But there was a handful of cunts in Sydney and they were fucking killing it.
Yeah.
But you had to seek them out. Now, fuck, man. Like, Melbourne's crazy. Sydney is getting there. Like, there's so many fucking good tattooers, you know what I mean? Only reason I was fucking busy back in the days because no one had a choice. Like, swear to God. Fucking, there was no cunt doing, like, you'd see black in a traditional tattoo, people were freaking out.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck? Like, I said colour, you know, you're going to put colour in it? Because they weren't used to seeing, like, heavy black lines and heavy black shading, whatever. So, yeah, fuck, I'm rambling, but fucking, yeah, good and bad.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
I feel that way as well, like, I mean, yeah, it's like the young dudes we've got, and I'm not trying to talk them up or anything, but just because I see their tattoos every day, you know, like the tattoos they're doing are better than the tattoos, like they've been tattooing, say, for probably doing tats properly for 6 months, you know, and the tats they're doing now are better than the tats I was doing after 5 years.
Oh, fucking oath. I think that all the time, yeah, 100%. It's crazy that, because I think that's one of the good parts, which I probably didn't touch on, is like you said, having access to the information for the people that really do give a fuck about this thing that we do.
Yeah.
Mad. Because that can only make a person that's already going to be good better.
Yep.
But for people that really shouldn't be doing this and don't deserve it and don't appreciate it, it makes it too easy.
Yep.
So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was always the thing, you know, like, I came up on Miami Ink, you know, that was like some of my introduction into tattooing. And I remember back then it was like people were saying, you know, this is given almost too much exposure to tattooing.
Fuck.
And
yes.
Like for me, I'm sort of like, well, it's changed my life, that show, in a way.
Yes,
you know, like,
fair to say, because it brought it to masses.
Yeah. But I'm like, I sort of understand, you know, that it's like, well, I think it's helped everyone in a way, because it's given, like, more people get tattooed now than they used to, you know, like it's more acceptable and stuff like that. But that then opens it up, you know, like a lot more people want to tattoo. And
isn't that even weird though too? Because now, like, it's funny because, like, that's another thing that kind of is a little bit lost these days, where, like, back in the day, I was attracted as a little kid to tattoos because I knew it was something a bit naughty. It was something like, oh, that cunt's probably been in jail, or he looked like a punk fella, like back in the late 80s or something like that, with a few tattoos on the forearms, and you're like, oh, fuck, you know, like. And now, like, there's a mum driving a Porsche in fucking a rich suburb of Sydney with fucking tattoos on her, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, and it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But there is. I'd be lying if I didn't say there was a small part of me that losing that element of it is a little bit sad. You know what I mean? Like there was something. It meant something. You know.
I mean, I fully agree with that, and I think, but I also think like maybe it's just progressed. Like it's now. You know, the average sort of forearm tattoo doesn't mean anything, but like, you know, people are pushing the boundaries. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but like
the
forehead fucking skull.
Fucking hectic.
Like,
yeah, that's balls. That guy's got balls.
And he's a lovely dude and everything like that. But, you know, like maybe that's like what the old forearm tat is.
Fucking oath. Yeah,
know?
because like things just got pushed and pushed and pushed because at the point of time where you can no longer differentiate yourself from a rich mum in the fucking like nice areas, and there's no difference. It's like, whoa, hey.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. But like, and again, like I said, really, like when I think about it, it shouldn't matter at all. Do you know what I mean? But to some of us, it's a thing in you that you got to fight against a bit too, because it can be a bit negative, you know what I mean? But definitely. I think that's pushed cunts to go harder because it's like, oh, so the rich mum's got her forearm tattooed, I'm going to fucking get my face done. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it.
Well, that's like, I look at it from two perspectives. You know, one is like, you know, I definitely felt like, you know, I've had a good upbringing and stuff like that, and I got into tattoos through my grandma. She was the only one in my family who had tattoos. She's got it's a little bit of a weird situation because it's caused a bit of drama in our family. But
we're having tattoos?
Yeah, so she got tattooed at Illustrated Man in Sydney.
Oh man.
But she's from Wales. She come over and then she lived in Orange in the country, so like small town sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
or New South Wales country.
Yeah, so she's got like all her front done and
no shit.
Yeah, super conservative, religious and stuff like that. So it's a bit odd. And she got a few on her legs and stuff, but
like covered. Like does she cover them all up?
I've never seen the front. Yeah, my mum keeps telling me to. She got some on her ass and stuff, which I've seen by accident one time, but yeah, like I'm throwing my mum under the bus here, but so my mum, I mean, growing up in a country town back then, like women didn't have tats.
Yeah, of course.
And I think there was a lot of embarrassment around it from my mum and stuff like that. And so when I started getting into it, my mum was like not into it at all. You know, she was like, I don't want to be going through this again, all that.
My mum was the same.
Yeah, I think most parents, well, most mums probably are like that, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of like, you know, for me, like getting into tattooing, it was like, you know, we had good life and stuff when we were young and everything. But I definitely always felt like a bit different, you know, like I always wanted to have like a different haircut or wanted to like, you know, when I started getting tattooed when I was 15 and it was like, none of my friends were into tats, you know?
Yeah, nah, same, bro. Yeah.
And that was like the thing I was into.
Yeah.
And then, but like ultimately now it's like, because it's so popular, it's like for business wise, it's sick.
Yeah, fuck, of course.
Every fucking young dude wants to be covered, you know?
Yeah.
I think, you know, like, because it is more accepted, like, you can, as a young kid or whatever, get fucking covered, you know?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is true. It is true. And I guess it depends on, you know, the person and their clientele and stuff like that as well. And I think I can speak on both our behalves, having looked at your tattoos, obviously, online and that. We're lucky with our customers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're getting to do tattoos that we want to do. And it wasn't always like that, I'm sure, for any of us. But, you know, like there'd be that very rare occasion where there'd be some random person that just popped up out of nowhere doing what they do and it fucking takes off straight away.
Yep.
And fair play to them, good on you. Like if you're that good, I wasn't. It took me a long time. You know, like I still remember my first tattoo in the shop where I'd lied to get the fucking job, right? And just like this cunt's fucking bleeding out. You know what I mean? Probably because the needle's hanging out like 4 inches off the fucking tube. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? And I jabbed myself with the fucking needle. I was so nervous. I'm thinking, this cunt's definitely got something. I'm fucked now. First day of tattooing, I've got AIDS. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And, just fucking different times, man. Different experience, hey?
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, having watched my wife apprentice under me and like all the young guys at the shop now, it's like one half of me is like, fuck, like I wish it was easy like that when I was starting. And not necessarily, I didn't have a hard apprenticeship under Bobby and Scott. Like they were always good to me, but it was like, I remember we would just like, it was like when Instagram was starting. And I would fucking trawl Instagram and try and find any photo of any tattooer I liked doing a tat.
Didn't it feel like back then it was all like heaps of tattooers as well? Like when the platform was new, it was like, oh, this new thing that every tattooer was using. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like to me because I wasn't seeing other shit. Now I'm getting fucking tits and fucking all kinds of shit popping up on my fucking thing. I'm going, I don't even fucking follow this. What the fuck is this? But back then it was like, it felt like a lot smaller,
Definitely. It was a weird one because I remember I got it the day Instagram came out. I was still in school.
Fucking
I don't know because they used to say like new apps that got released and I used to just download them all. And I followed Jacqueline Ray, who is married to Josh Sotheby now. And then I got into Josh Sotheby and there was like a few others. Sean Jackson from Tattoo Magic, Geordie Cole. You when you on there, like
I got a good story about that too. Geordie Cole and Tattoo Magic.
Go for it.
Do you want me to go for it?
I want to hear it.
But the first time I ever put a needle to someone's skin was in that shop.
Really?
Because I'll cut a long story short, but you want to laugh. I won a fucking competition that was a Limp Bizkit and Echo clothing competition of designing a tattoo. Right, and it had to be Limp Bizkit themed, and the prize was that you got to fly to Melbourne and get it tattooed off. At the time, I didn't know, but off a killer tattooer and a good cunt that fucking again didn't have to give me the time of day. Simon Moody, that was working at Tattoo Magic at the time. And so I win this fucking competition. I'm not even old enough to get the tattoo. So we fly there and my mate does it, and he said something to Simon, and Simon was just like, "Well, fucking, if you want to do it, have a crack now." You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck? I reckon I ripped about 10 gloves trying to get them on, like just sweating, you know what I mean? And I think I
was doing that today.
True. I probably tattooed for 5 seconds and was just like, all right, sweet, I'm done. That's it. Thanks, but fucking that's it. Like I'm fucking, like my hand was shaking faster than the machine was moving, you know what I mean? But fuck, it was there.
Wow.
Just totally random like thing.
That's fucking. You know? Well, my first tat experience was in Tattoo Magic as well.
True.
Like, because I used to get all the tattoos down under magazines, and Danny Young was in there. And I wanted to get my full chest. I'm glad in the end he didn't do it. Because I wanted to get a big banner that just had my last name across it on my whole chest. And I remember I emailed him about it. They're like, "Yep, coming for the consult." I went in my school uniform, and I was only 15. He like sketched it all, and he's like, "Cool, go make the booking." And then then they were like, "Oh, you got ID?" And I was like, "Nah." Well, I was like, "I do, but I'm only 15." And they're like, "Oh, we can't do it."
Oh, true.
And so I didn't. I feel bad about it, but ultimately I traced one of the tats he did out of Tattoos Down Under and took it to a bloke who would do it. And it's the worst tat I've ever got. It was my first tat. But he's always...
I like that, bud. You're not going to let me get it. Fuck you. I'm going to fucking find a way.
But when I started tattooing, he would do split sheets with me, Danny, and stuff like that. And I've actually never been tattooed by him. I should though.
Should get him to copy the one the other fella did. A copy of a copy.
But Bella got her first tattoo at Tattoo Magic as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, see, like honestly, back then, like, and I might be a bit ignorant to knowing everything in regards to Melbourne tattooing, but I remember the shops that we heard of, and it was always Tattoo Magic. It was Dynamic. You know what I mean? Like it was Chapel to me especially at that time, being just the pinnacle. Because there was nothing. Like literally, there was not a shop here specializing in traditional tattooing. There wasn't anyone doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were fucking killing it.
Yeah. They still do.
You know what I mean? Fucking oath.
Yeah.
And you know, all of those people there, like that was huge to me before even tattooing. Like I was looking at, you know, trying to look online on fucking MySpace, you know, at whoever's work, trying to fucking like why can't I get this here? Like, where is this? You know, and actually notably, I don't know if I'm so bad with keeping in touch with people, but Jacob Morley that was working there at the time. To fuck, man, that cunt done like a lot for me, you know what I mean? Like, and helped me a lot.
Yeah, he's moved out to Byron.
Has he really?
Yep. And
okay, yeah, sweet.
just pretty much doing his paintings.
But the paintings are fucking
We
cracker.
actually, Bella bought one for Christmas for me.
Oh, that's hectic.
Yeah, big one.
That's mad. I really need to
I had to pay for it, but, you know.
Fuck. I need to fucking, I'll be doing the same. I need to get on top of some fucking funds at the minute. Get a few things fucking that I have responsibility for sorted, and then fucking definitely high on the list, bro, because that fella fucking, like, again, like, he had me sleep on his couch.
Yeah.
He tattooed me fucking in hotels here when there was no good shop to tattoo in, and, you know, helped me out with advice along the way. But there's a lot. I wish I could mention everybody, you know, like, but hopefully, like, after I'll just mention a few people, because, like, really there's some cunts that if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be, you know, like, doing this anyway.
Nah, that's good. And I like with Jacob, like, you know, like, I always, he's friends with Rudy, one of the guys who works at the shop.
Okay, yep.
And, like, you know, like, I'd never been tattooed by him, any of that sort of stuff. And, like, he used to come into the shop and, like, just say hi to us. And, like, he was kept, like, up to tabs with what I was doing and, like, what Bella was doing. And I'm like, that's the kind of stuff, like, not that I think anyone gives a fuck about me, but it's like, that's what, like, he's putting the effort in, you know, and he's making someone like me feel like he's into it.
That's right. And it was the same with me. So look at this, right? Like, we're talking, and you said what, not 10 years you've been tattooing? 9 years, right? So we're talking approximately a 10-year difference between when we started tattooing and he was like that with me and he was like that with you.
Yeah.
That's the type of fucking people we need doing this fucking shit, because there's so many fuckwits, we all know that.
Yeah.
With egos and attitudes and fucking whatever. And I'm not going to say I've never been guilty of it. I don't know. You know, I'd like to think I've done my best over the years. But people like him, like, that's a person that gives a fuck.
Yeah.
They give a fuck about their work and they give a fuck about people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, bro, like, outside of even tattooing, bro, like, just the way that the world is, there's not many cunts like that. You know what I mean? So, nothing but good words to say about him. Fuck. Like,
and that's the thing, like, we, like, try and always instill in the young guys is, like, you know, like, you might think you're the best or you might be the best or whatever, you know, and you might think, you know, that young kid who's tatting is shit or, you know, they haven't put the time in or whatever, but, you know, like, those little things that, you know, like, Danny was always nice to me, you know, Jacob comes into the shop, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, it's nothing, but it sticks with me as a tattooer, you know?
Yeah,
and
it's important, eh?
And I always try and think that, you know, and not that I think I'm anyone or whatever, but, you know, when apprentices come into the shop to get tattooed, you know, they work at a different shop or whatever, and I might not have ever heard of them or, you know, whatever. It's like just the little things about, like, going and asking them how their tat's going or looking at their Instagram or, like, just talking to them like you would a normal customer or all of that sort of stuff.
It's true, bro. It's true. And maybe it's something I've fallen short on, because I think I've, you know, multiple times I think I've burnt out even doing this.
Yeah.
And I love it. You know what I mean? And I know I've burnt out and I know that, like, the love's always there, but, you know, the shine gets taken off it here and there sometimes with anything. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure there's been times where, like, you know, tattooing, it was what I did for a job. And I'm lucky that I get to do it for a job. But that extra effort sometimes, and I'll be honest, bro, like, fucking, like, since a kid, like, my head's not been the fucking, you know, with anxiety and depression and all this type of fucking shit. So things do come into play, but I could have made more effort with some people. And it was never, if anyone ever felt, like, especially with people like that, apprentices and shit like that, if anyone ever felt disrespected by me, it was never, ever like an intentional thing. It was probably whatever was going on with me, if there was anything like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, from our perspective, this will sound like I'm trying to suck your dick, but...
Nah.
Like,
fuck.
You know, like...
I'd be worried if you were.
There's no one else in here, so... Is like, when we come up here, it's like, you know, like, the amount of effort you put in, even just the messaging us and, like, setting us up. You know, the first time I came up, you wouldn't have bought us new stations and shit like that, you know, like,
oh, fuck.
And it was like, you know, like, all of us at the shop, you know, even the guys who haven't worked here and stuff like that. It's like, everyone knows that. Everyone remembers that, you know, like, it's like you and Jamie and Lauren and everyone else is like, so welcoming.
Oh, I'm glad.
And that's why, like, I would like to think that, there would be lots of shops that would be happy to have us come and tat, but it's like,
Oh, there should be.
This is like the shop that we all want to come and work at.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that, honestly, because since, like a lot of things happened, the shop changed hands. This is a long story short, now Jamie and myself, like, are running the shop, and like, we're so lucky to have the people around us that we do every day, that are here solid, like the solid crew. We've got a small crew, and maybe that grows, but what we've got is fucking good.
Yeah.
And then to hear though that people coming from outside come in and feel welcomed, because I know what it's like to go into a new shop. Doesn't matter if you're fucking... Maybe some of these cunts have been tattooing for fucking 30, 40 years or some shit. Yeah. They don't care. They feel like they're royalty of some variety, which is fucking ridiculous anyway, but like they're comfortable. But like I'm still... I don't like going into a joint where I don't know my surroundings, I don't know the people in there. So to hear that someone can come in and feel comfortable like that, it means something to us, because like we've all been through not feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having, the older tattoo make you feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's not where it's at, man. Fucking these cunts that are still carrying on like that, trying to make people feel lesser, because like they're younger in tattooing or something like that, and they must have respect because I know this cunt and I've been at this convention and tattooing this long, and it's like, bruh, like this cunt that you're treating like shit today will be doing that in a few years. What are you what are you getting out of? Does it make you feel good to like make someone else feel worse? And that that runs in this since back in the day.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you down and fucking break you like you're in the army. And like we're fucking putting drawings on people, like it's important to put someone through the ringer.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and I always think, like, I mean, like everyone's different and stuff, but I've always thought like, fuck, like, you want to be respected by your co-workers and your peers in the industry and stuff like that. But for me, and like I was lucky, Scott and Bobby always taught me this, was like, it's like your customers, they're the ones that fucking matter the most.
Listen, fucking 1,000%. Yeah. And it's funny because I can't remember who it was with, and fucking this person, and you forgive me because my memory is just fucked. But I was having this conversation with a customer because there is a lot of that dick sucking, for want of a better fucking term, that goes on in this industry, right? And then it's sort of this climbing of ladders and fucking, doing whatever you fucking do to get to wherever you get. But at the end of the day, bro, like if I have the respect of someone that's been tattooing for 40 years, they're not there every week coming and getting tattooed and helping me pay my fucking rent. You know what I mean? So the people that are coming in, the repeat customers, the walk-in customers, the fucking ones that might come and just get one or two off you and then collect off other people, that's what makes us.
Yeah.
Because without that, what the fuck do we have to offer, bro?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, without these people, no one gives a fuck outside of this small group of people in the world that like having drawings on them permanently.
Yeah. And I could be wrong in thinking this, or people might disagree with me and stuff, but I think like the guys that I've always looked up to, yourself included and stuff, is like, like Chad Coplinger, Burt Crack.
And there's another,
all those guys. But I'm like, I don't know those guys personally and stuff, but I'm like, I look at them and go like, what? Obviously I love the style they do and their tats, but like, I'm like, why are they in the positions they're in tattooing? And I think it's because they're just doing fucking tats.
Yeah.
And they're into it. They're working as much as they can.
Yeah.
Like they're doing their thing, and ultimately you do it long enough and good enough that you just gain the respect of everyone.
But they definitely, and those names specifically, and many others within that same sort of maybe generation of tattooers, let's say, obviously have respect for a reason. Yeah. Right. Chad, for me, I still remember seeing, I can't even remember what tattoo magazine it was, but it was when magazines were a big thing. Yeah. And like one or two cunts had websites you like be religiously checking every week to see if they'd uploaded a new photo. But like magazines were the thing. Yeah. And I still remember seeing, it was some UK tattoo magazine and Chad was in it. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like these tattoos are fucking like they're so bold, they're scary. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, how's he seeing whip shading, like fucking, like heavy, like just da-da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
you know? And it looked just fucking strong, you know what I mean? And no one was doing that here.
Yeah.
It's like a swallow that's like all flat blue with a little bit of pink on the fucking breast. And do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was like, what the fuck? And Chad was the first one. And again, he's one of the people that I'd mentioned before that I'd like, bro, like without him, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when he first come here, and it was connected from him through to Jacob as well with Chapel and everything like that, when he done his first guest spot in Australia, we used to speak on MySpace.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, do you know anyone there that I'd be able to fucking work with? You know, because the weird thing was I was tattooing at home, but I never showed anyone that. I just put tattoo flash.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want anyone to know. Because, bro, it was a time back then where fucking you get a knock on the door if some cunt found you with tattooing at home. And I like my fucking hands, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, I know cunts that have fucking had their hands fucking broken and shit, you know what I mean? So it was, like, different. But, like, and again, no reason to help, but helped, you know? Don't know why to this day.
Yeah.
But
You've got your back done by him, don't you?
my back, bro, one side of my neck, bunch on my right arm, my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, very lucky to have that stuff, and over such a span too of time.
Yeah.
You know, from before I started tattooing, bro, this can't help me.
Yeah.
Like who? Not many
And
people
it's like,
do this.
he's one of those guys, and, you know, I don't know Chad, and I would love to meet him, and I do want to get tattooed by him in the future. But it's like, he's one of those guys, like, you would forgive for, like, not giving the time of day to lots of people because he's, like, busy, popular, world known, you know, but, like, often they're the ones who, like, they get to that position because they do fucking give a shit.
He was killing it fucking over 20 years ago. Yeah. It's 20 years later and the cunt has not slowed down. Like, this is proper machines. This is proper, like... Okay, so here's one thing where I will give respect that a lot of people can't get if maybe they weren't from that generation. Actually, you know what? I tell a lie because Jamie is a workhorse.
Yeah.
I mentally, physically don't have it in me to work like that.
Yeah.
But Chad and those guys do it as well. Steve Byrne, you know, these cunts are working like they're working up into the night, bro. You know, they're going to fucking tattoos when they're like they should be at home. You know what I mean? And I'm going. It's 6:58. Fucking, I'm gonna be home in 2 minutes.
They're still doing tours. I mean? They did like a fucking tattoo to Atlanta the other week.
Straight out, and it comes from love, and they're just weapons. I don't know how, bro. I think I'm just the runt of the litter. Like, I don't have it in me, bro. Like, these cunts have got, like, they're still just, and they're still innovating shit.
Yeah. Well, that's
like,
I was showing my customer yesterday morning, actually. He was asking about tats and full body suits and stuff. And I said, oh, look at the one Chad did. I don't know if you saw it. It was like the full body suit he did recently.
Is that with like there's some Hindu imagery and stuff like that? Yeah, it's fucking insane.
And I was like, that. And then he did this back piece in 2 days at a convention recently, which was like, I don't know what they're fucking called, but they're like the geisha heads with the spider legs.
Oh, and you know what? Like, yeah, you've got me there. I don't know what it's called. But yes, I remember. Yeah. And that was insane.
And it had all the webs and stuff in the background.
It was ridiculous.
That's like, I'm like, he's tattooed longer than almost I've been alive. Yeah. And he's doing shit now that I couldn't even think of.
100%.
And he's working more than me.
Yes.
And tattooing longer than me.
100%.
And I'm like,
yeah.
So that's what I say to all the young dudes. I'm like, yeah, maybe you never be like, you know, he's obviously like got a great talent.
Yes.
But I'm like, the thing that I think is like gets those guys to that point where they're like world known, respected is like, it's the effort and working hard. You know?
And you know what? There'll be those times where, like, you know, like a lot of people, their relationships don't last starting to tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, that's how much needs to get put into it if you want to. And this is one thing that I'll probably sound like a broken record having said a million times, but you get out of it what you put into it. So these cunts are putting so much into it, like more than I have in me to put, honestly, more than I have in me to put in, and it really shows. Yeah. Like, it really shows. And I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm giving my customers shit tattoos, like, and like I don't care or anything. But just when it comes to like those new ideas, not just rehashing flash, which, you know, like it's part of tattooing, bro.
Yeah.
Like we're doing traditional tattoos. Like who the fuck's not fucking gonna trace something and re-tattoo it?
Yeah.
You know, like off an old flash sheet. You know what I mean? Most of the flash that I do are just redraws on old shit.
Same.
You know, but and I love that, and I think that's part of tattooing. But these are like Ed Hardy cunts.
Yeah.
They're trailblazing fucking shit. I'm not fucking doing that. You know
Well,
what I
it's
mean?
funny. Like you might think that, but I think others, you know, myself included, think that like the stuff you're doing, like that's where I'm like. It's like I've always looked at your tats. It's like I want my tats to look like your tats. They don't, obviously, but like
nah, yeah, fucking that. It's
that's
thank
where
you.
I think like
Fuck.
yeah.
But I just it's weird to even think, that like what you do because it seems very unimportant.
Doing tats.
Yeah.
Well, I think on one hand it is, you know, but on the other hand, it's fucking really important, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I guess, you know, like, but you never think that, or I never thought that there would be people under me. When I say under, that's a fucking fucked way of saying it. People that started after me, right, would look at me with any respect or like acknowledgement of the shit I've done in in tattooing, say. So it's fucking, it's mad, but it's fucking strange.
Oh, it is weird. And it's like, not that I really get it ever, but like when, you know, like young kids come in, you know, like they don't know anything about tattooing or whatever. And it's like, maybe I'm the one tattooer they've seen, you know, and they talk to you like you are someone bigger than you think you are or whatever. Like it's a weird fucking feeling. But
it is.
I remember, man, like the day I went into Vintique, which is the shop that I started at with Bobby and Scott, Bobby had like an A4 original that you'd painted. And we've still got it on the wall at the shop.
Fuck me, dead. When is that from?
It'll be a while.
Is it fucked?
2012, 2011.
Oh, fuck. It's definitely fucked. Binder, I'll give you a new one.
No. And
fuck.
It's like, it's still on the wall. And
oh my God.
And so it's been through like all the different iterations of the shops and stuff like that. And it's like, I just remember, it was like, I always remember looking at this sheet because it was one that there was a Steve Byrne sheet, and like a few others, but like
only Steve's, hey.
Yeah. Well, pretty much,
Steve Byrne, yeah.
And no, there was a Chad one as well that Bobby had.
God, he's ruined it.
And but I remember looking at those, so it's like, and it's, you know, like you were from Sydney, like, and I'd never been up here and been tattooed and stuff. So like, I think you'd be surprised, you know, like how many younger tattooers and stuff look up to what like you've done. And
it's a weird thing, bro. Like, it feels weird to acknowledge it without feeling like a fuckwit.
Yeah, no, I get you.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But there's been a few tattooers that are definitely younger than me, have definitely been tattooing less than me, that have said something like that.
Yeah. And
when I say a few, like I'm starting to sound like a fuckwit going, all these cunts. No. But a few people that it just stood out in my head of what they said, or what they thought of me or my work or whatever over the years. And it like spun me out. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? Like how, like, and it makes me happy in a way, because like I didn't think I'd fucking leave any. It's funny saying not leaving a mark on the world because you're fucking tattooing cunts
drawing on people.
But like I said, it's not important.
Yeah.
But to know that it meant something to someone else, because I know what that feeling is like, bro. You know, with cunts that you might look up to. So it's just it's just a fucking it's a bit of a humbling fucking weird fucking thing. To hear shit like that. Yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable for me, but I really appreciate it. Like anyone that's ever expressed that, even a lot of customers, man, like that come in and put up with my fucking shit talking fucking every time they come in, ranting about whatever the fuck is pissed me off that day, or I might be interested in some random thing, and they're saying nice shit still.
Yeah.
Like that in spite of me. You know, so fuck it. I'm fucking lucky, man.
Yeah,
you know,
that's awesome. We touched on it earlier, but you know, when I sort of got introduced to you, not personally, but like back when I started getting into tats, I knew you as Stevie Edge.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were like, in my mind, like the main like straight edge tattooer that I had exposure to. And I think that I know a lot of people who have been tattooed by you who are straight edge and stuff like that. And you can say whatever you want about this. I'm not going to push you.
It's weird for me, bro, because
I'll just quickly explain what straight edge is.
Yeah, go.
I could get it wrong.
You
for
do
anyone.
It, bro. You do it.
So in my mind, straight edge is no drinking of alcohol, no smoking, no drugs, and no abusing of prescription medications.
Yeah.
Some people tack on some other shit.
I tacked on a lot of other shit.
Yeah. Coffee or sex.
Fucking, bro, like nothing. Anything that I could control, I controlled.
Yeah. And some people add on veganism and stuff like that.
I was vegan for 10 years, you know.
So I've been straight edge since I was 17, which is 12 or 13 years now.
Yeah, mad.
I got in. I'll just explain this quickly. It's real weird. I got into straight edge a real weird way. So when I was young, I was paranoid about getting fat.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I didn't drink or anything like that.
For a reason at all?
Well, like through footy and stuff, like I was real health conscious.
Like all the boys that play footy are like that, eh? Like, fuck, I can't wait. I'm like, fuck, I gotta run. You know what I mean? Like, true, fair enough.
Then ultimately, I sort of got into hardcore music, and someone was like, "Oh, you're straight edge," and I was like, didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was
and
like
then
that.
I was like, "Oh, okay," and then essentially just committed to it to hold myself accountable for whatever.
Yeah.
And it works good for me, you know.
Prior to that, had you been like, you know, had you done any sort of drugs, or had you been drinking or going out with your mates?
Never done drugs. I think I smoked like one ciggy, but like didn't probably smoke it or whatever.
And drinking and
I reckon I've had like 4 or 5 drinks. I got drunk once.
Okay.
On gin at home.
Yeah,
weird.
right.
But yeah, other than that, and
sophisticated, eh?
Yeah, you know me. I told you I had a good life when I was young.
True. I only ask because I think it's a weird thing, because a lot of cunts like fucking from a young age, and especially where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like they're fucking running amok fucking 24/7 from nappies, bro. Like drinking fucking piss out of a bottle. You know what I mean? And I never done that.
Yeah.
You know, like I had, I lived in an area where there was the shit going around with my mum, but my mum was very religious and very strict, right?
Yeah.
I don't see my dad on the weekends and stuff, you know what I mean? But he never had to pull rank, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we get to do the fun shit, go out and do fucking whatever, but mum was the one. But like, it was because of that that I had anything to pull me back from, like, bro, the parks are littered with fucking fits and shit, you know what I mean? Like, just cunts, like going in the station, every cunt's on the nod. And, you know, but I luckily found... And, you know, I managed, and we'll get to this, but I managed to turn straight edge into a negative when it should be only a positive. But even though that happened, I don't regret any of it, because I would either be dead in jail or fucking on fucking heavy drugs if I didn't have that to get me through those times. And I always joke about it. Look, my mum put in a lot of effort, bro, like fucking put up with shit from me as well. Homeschooled me because I was being too naughty at school. Yeah. And I said, well, fucking, you know, I'm going to play up, take me out, fucking, and she done it, you know. But like, I had at least someone with my back to make me think, nah, you don't want this. I don't want to be like, and bro, like fucking, I've lost so many mates to fucking drugs and fucking, whether that be that they fucking died from it or that they're lost to it just themselves, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that is what that fucking, I think, affected me young enough to go, when I heard about straight, it was like, this is for me. Yeah. Because I was like, I don't want this. Yeah. I need to get the fuck out of here. And if I'm going to do that, it's not going to be like this, because they're dying here, man. Yeah. And, you know, one of the boys that I grew up with just died the other week on gear, you know. And, you know, like, that was... We were fucking... like, I knew this cunt when he was 10 years old, bro, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was always going to be... Like, there's part of me that, you know, you want to keep a bit of hope, but then after fucking so many years, you start realising, like, a small percentage that get into it get out
Yep.
alive
Yep.
and sweet, you know. So fucking straight edge and hardcore for me, but like I joke, it raised me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, you know, in spite of the obvious, which we'll talk about,
Yep.
that I'm not straight edge anymore, those 18 years, like, I think if I didn't have that in my life, it would have taken taken a very different trajectory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, I just sort of like I don't know if it's like sensitive or not or whatever, but I remember like, because for me, like I've only ever been straight edge for me.
Yes.
You know, like I didn't know any fucking straight edge
How it
people.
should be, yeah.
And I do now and stuff, and that's great and everything, but you know, like whether they're still straight edge, whatever, I'm more like do what works for you and what makes you happy, because I'm doing what I'm doing.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. I'll definitely say there was times where I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I was very intolerant, you know, and it's embarrassing, bro, because like, fuck, like when I think of some shit that I done after that,
Yeah.
I go, you fucking idiot. Like what the fuck? On multiple levels.
Yeah.
On the first level of you're now a hypocrite because who you fucking hated,
Yeah.
and I don't use that word lightly, before you've become
Yeah.
at a certain point, you know. And now I had to go through that to learn, but I think, you know what I mean? And even with straight edge, bro, I think that had to be taken from me to take me down a few pegs.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it wasn't just for me.
Yep.
It was about superiority. It was about fucking having a title and belonging to something that I didn't have. Fucking, fuck, I could go back into some fucking stories of why straight edge becomes so important to me. But, you know, to cut a long story short, raised very religious, bro. Like this sort of Pentecostal Hillsong weird type of fucking church shit. And at a certain point, some fucking cook shit happened there. And I was just like, fuck this, man, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with this, man. I've been from birth till fucking like mid-late teens involved in this shit. It's everything, you know, like you fucking black and white, you fuck up, fucking you're going to hell, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and in a way, like I said this to someone the other day, like I personally, and I'm not talking about straight edge for anyone else regarding this, but I swapped religion and a very extreme religion for straight edge.
Okay.
And I put the same level of black and whiteness and the same level of fucking like forcefulness of it onto straight edge. And that's where I fucked it. You know what I mean? But I didn't know it at the time. I was just like, I'm going to go as far in the opposite direction as all my mateys that are fucking in the area. Because I can't be like this, man. I need to fucking leave. You know what I mean? They were just, we're talking generations of Houso too, you know what I mean? Like I was first, we moved to Housos. You know, so I had it easier. To be honest, you know, here's the thing, easier in one way because it wasn't generations of it, harder in the sense that I wasn't raised like that, and bro, I was soft. I was the fucking softest kid, bro. And then you to put me in the middle of that, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? The first day I moved out there, this cunt fucking walks out of his house with a big fucking Swazi on his forearm, white power written around it.
Fuck.
And then I'm walking down the shops and cunts are trying to take your phone, trying to take your fucking hat, your shoes, whatever the fuck you had, your bike. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm going to have to fucking get changed, like fucking harden up. Or get just fucked, you know what I mean? So that you know, it worked out. Fucking, I learned what I had to learn and got through all that shit. But straight edge got me away from having to fucking be that. You know what I mean? And then I fucked it again, to be honest, because I turned straight edge back into a fucking negative, you know?
How so?
Just it being about other people, bro. You know what I mean? Like not having that, you know, not everything, one portion, a small portion of all the things I hate about religion, right, was that instead of just going, I believe in Jesus, you believe in Muhammad or whatever, let's just be fucking sweet with that. It's, I believe in Jesus, I want you to fucking believe in Jesus, even though your culture and your belief in your religion is completely different to mine. No, you're wrong, I'm right. And that was the attitude that I hated, but then adopted it and put on straight edge.
Yep.
Where it was like you're smoking a cigarette, I'm taking it out of your mouth and I'm fucking putting it on the ground if it fucking blows in my face.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself, and it's going to be fucking, you know, if I see someone in the pit fucking drinking, I'm fucking lining them up like a fuckwit. You know what I mean? And I look back on it now and you can laugh about parts of it because it's fucking stupid, you know, over what, bro? Over us not drinking and not doing drugs and having some control over our fucking lives that are more or less fucking uncontrollable. So we take this small bit back.
Yep.
You know? But, yeah, fuck, I don't know, but straight edge fucking could talk on it for a long time.
Because I like, you know, like when you're a straight edge tattooer, like... that like I do a lot of straight edge tats, you know,
bro,
and
that's the other thing.
And
you
know, like, and I'm always super stoked to do that, you know, but I sort of it's always a bit, maybe I feel differently about it because, you know, like I've always just thought like I just am straight edge and that's just how I want to be, and if someone else wants to do that, sick, I'm stoked, you know, like I got the X on my throat from Simon Earl, like that was cool, and I've, you know, done X's for lots of different people and stuff like that. And that I remember seeing you do a lot, and you've tattooed some of my straight edge friends.
Man. Heaps.
And, you know, that sort of like more militant style of straight edge. Like I always looked up to that, you know, but that wasn't me, mainly because I was never going to shows and I was never involved in like that sort of scene. So I was always on the outer just seeing it, and I was like, fuck, man, like I always took so much pride in the fact that it's like what I am and what I'm doing, other people align with that. And there's people who are like committed to that. And
for sure. You
know, and whether you're straight edge or you live a sober life or whatever, you know, to me, sometimes they're the same thing. And I'm like,
exactly.
That, you know, we're like,
because it gets to that point of what's important, the title or what we're doing.
Exactly. But, you know, I guess maybe I'm lucky because how I view it is like, you know, when I saw that you weren't straight edge anymore, I was actually like so disappointed in the straight edge community and how that like the reaction to like when your announcement, and it's like you never told me personally or anything, like why would you? But I remember you posted.
I don't even know this myself, bro. Like to be honest, you know, because not many people here. We know, brother, it's fucking the world over. Everyone will talk about you. No one will talk to you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I had one fuckwit, whoever he was, he'll know, message me and go, edge break, face break when I see you. I go, you know where I work, cunt? Fucking 11 to 7, let's go. Fucking I'll book you in. You know what I mean? But that was it.
Yep.
Fucking DJ from fucking Path of Resistance messaged me and he said, bro, like, he goes, he said, you need to do what's right for you.
Yep.
And this is like... But fucking Carl, Earthchrist is singing in a band together, Vegan Straight Edge, since forever.
Yeah.
People that I looked up to still treating me like a fucking human being, even though this thing, man, it means a lot, man.
Yeah.
It means a lot, meant a lot to me. Still means a lot to me in a weird way, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, I don't feel like, this is going to sound like an excuse to some people.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't feel like I gave up on straight edge. Mm-hmm. I feel like straight edge, life took straight edge from me.
Yep.
I couldn't fucking handle what was happening at the time, and being sober and not having any way of switching that off.
Yep.
I couldn't do it. Like that's the completely honest truth.
Yep.
Like it wasn't anything in my head of I want to party. Like when I started thinking like that, I was stressing out, bro.
Yep.
Like fucking, it was a hard thing for me to come to terms with because you're talking like I was 15, bro, 98.
Yeah.
Fucking Breed the Killers had just come out. I'm reading all these fucking vegan straight edge. You know, I'm like, fuck, this is me. This is it. Let's go. You know, fucking. So it's very weird, bro. And then to sort of have to be on such a fuck. It sounds dumb, but it was on a public stage.
Definitely.
Because at the end of the day, I had people coming to me because I was straight edge.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking let these people think that. And I'm not. And it wasn't even the day before I realised, and I say realised because I realised I wasn't straight edge anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't I'm going to break. You know what I mean? It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was just like have a fucking meltdown, go to the doctors, get put on fucking Xannies.
Yeah.
And then to this day, I still remember the first time I took one of those. And I remember I was in such a bad place personally, just mentally, you know what I mean? I had my missus there, bro, like, again, my absolute fucking rock, because without her,
Yeah.
done. Like, I was at my limit, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, if I sound so dumb, bro, but like Dad said, he said, listen, to go home, take one of these things, see how it affects you.
Yep.
And know then if you're out, if something happens, you have a fucking panic attack or fucking anxiety kicks in. Because I had it for everything, but I could have some 6 foot tall cunt come up to me on the street and try and rob me, and I don't care, but I'm scared to get on a bus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking cooked, like, just going, like, coming to work, bro, going straight back into bed. I'm eating in bed. I'm watching TV in bed. My missus is fucking having lie next to me in bed because I couldn't fucking do anything else.
Yeah.
It took me everything just to get through the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this kind of gives you this fucking pill, right? And I thought, and this sounds stupid, but like I was so like close to my limit that I couldn't even watch a fucking like action movie, but I couldn't watch the footy.
Wow.
Because it'd start working me up so much that I'd like my chest would get all tight, bro. Like my heart would be going, and like I'd just start I'd spiraling, you know.
Yeah.
You're thinking, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Because it's new. But when the doctor told me about anxiety, I thought I had a heart attack. But the first time it happened, I'm thinking, I'm fucking dying. How the fuck is this happening? I'm 30.
Yeah.
I've been vegan for fucking the last 10 years. How the fuck is this going on? Go to the doctors, and he just laughed. And he's like, it's a fucking panic attack. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not a weak cunt. What are you talking about? Like, I'd never heard of this.
Yeah.
And this is only 10 years ago now. And he's like, it's not about being weak. You know what I mean? He's like, it's, you know, you've filled the bucket and it's spilled.
Yeah.
Too much. There's too much, and you haven't let it out as it's gone along. So that was that. You're given the pills. I go, I'm going to watch a fucking movie that I know is going to stress me out. So I look up, dead set, what a fucking gronk, a list of the 10 most depressing fucking movies. Because I'm thinking, if I can get through this cunt with this pill, I know it's worked.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be fucking a zombie and it still fucking affects me when something happens. I want to know that it's going to work. Otherwise, what's the point? Right? So I put on this movie, bro, called fucking Prozac Nation. Have you seen that?
No.
It's got Christina Ricci, I think, in it. And it's about how doctors are so quick to hand out prescription meds.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, fucking, if there's ever any movie to watch, this is the one.
Yeah.
But I took a Xanny, and when I say a Xanny, I'm not talking a brick. Like, I took what I was prescribed and a quarter of a bar. And, bro, my missus went out. Actually, I believe she was working here at the time. So she was at work and I was on the day off. So I've had the Xanny at home. I've watched this movie. I remember the first 5 minutes of that movie and I was fucking asleep till 8 o'clock that night. And my missus gets home. She didn't know where I was because in this fucking state of mess, I'd wrapped a blanket around my body and my head. And I'm lying on the couch like I'm in a fucking cocoon. You know what I mean? And she goes, are you sweet? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Of course. I just watched a movie, I fell asleep. It's 8 o'clock, I go, fuck off. And she goes, it's 8 o'clock, look, it's dark. It's pitch black.
Fuck.
I lost the whole day.
Yeah.
And the next day, bro, I felt like I'd had a holiday for myself.
Yeah.
And you cannot give that to someone that this is every day and expect them not to want it every day.
Yeah.
You can't. And without help alongside. And I was going to the psych at the same time.
Yeah.
But the thing was there is that when you give a drug like that to somebody and you make them think it's all right too, because I'm not fucking getting it off the street, you know what I mean? I'm prescribed this fucking from a doctor. How can it be bad? It's not fucking heroin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then fucking, 7 years later and I'm fucking, it's been the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm not using it just as I need to. I'm using it because I'm scared something's going to happen. I need to fucking be calm. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking it like to preempt shit happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, like there'll be people out there that take prescription drugs that have prescribed them and think they're better than some cunt booting up gear in the street, and they're not.
Yeah.
If we all need something to rely on to get by, we're all the same, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not saying anyone's better or worse. It's just life happens sometimes, bro. And like I hadn't, a lot of shit had happened up to that point, but I think I was able to sweep it under the rug long enough that I could keep my straight edge going. I didn't have to switch off my fucking head. You know what I mean? But then a certain point happened, a certain thing happened actually as to what tipped the scales a little bit.
Yep.
And someone had made a threat basically. And I had met that with, if there's going to be a drama, I'll have something with me and I'll give you my address, come.
Yeah.
And now, stupid thing to say, right? But it is, in the mindset that I've been in and out of over however many years, I have to fucking let it go, bro. I can't fucking beat myself up over this shit because I was a gronk at times. I can't deny it. And so, but then I'm thinking to myself, fuck, all right, so I've just said this now. My missus is here. Like, what do I have to be ready for now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do I have to be ready? And so I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, fuck, all right, I've just quit my job too.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of shit going on. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, what am I going to do if someone rocks up here? Like, I'm not giving up. So I'm fucking, what am I in for?
Yeah.
And that's what kicked it all off. But that was a fucking nothing thing. That was stupid shit. But after that, bro, it's just more, I realised one day, like, fuck, how can I say I'm edge? I'm not using these.
Yep.
I've gone from taking what I'm prescribed to take to more than I'm prescribed to take as a preemptive because I'm so stressed and freaked out about this shit happening in public.
Yeah.
To, I'm fucking getting it off the street, filling my fucking bottle so the doctor doesn't think I'm fucking pumping through it too much. Like, what a shit cunt. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, bro, what the fuck? When I think about it now, and the fucked thing was, bro, I'd done not long ago, 2 years, I didn't touch them because I started going to this lady that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And then I stopped, bro. Things happened. COVID happened.
Yeah.
Lockdowns fucked my head like fucking everybody, but I was already fucked before that. So I was like, just let's multiply it by fucking 100 and fucking be a mess from there. So I'm still getting my shit together from that, but fuck, bro. Like, I've had to rely on those things again here and there, but doing it properly now. I will not get those things off the street again because that's where things get fucking... There's no one, you're not accountable, bro. I'm accountable to my missus now. That's the thing. Like, if I absolutely need to take my meds, I will take it only when I need it, and I will tell her every time I take it.
Yeah.
Because I thought I could trust myself, and then I fucked up like that.
Yeah.
Life just fucking happened. Too many things happened, bro. Like fucking things that, like, I never thought I would have to fucking deal with, and things that, like, like what I was mentioning to you before about a couple of brothers being locked up, that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you're in there. Losing someone close to you like that is fucking, like, it's harder. For me, it's harder than, like, fucking someone dying.
Yeah.
Because when some cunt dies, you're fucking sad, you fucking might have a sook and then fucking you move on. You have to.
Yeah.
But this is like this fucking limbo. So this happens, fucking, like, a few things here and there, and, like, like things that affected in a big way, and I dealt with it in the wrong way. To not to make an excuse out of anything, but I dealt with it in the wrong way, and I realised.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, that's the thing that I think, people, when they think about straight edge, or, I do, is like, you take something that's so uncontrollable, your life.
Yes.
You apply this strict set of rules to it. And then it's like, you almost forget that, like, people have lives outside of being straight edge.
Yeah.
And
well, I didn't.
Well, that's the thing, you know.
I wouldn't even listen to a band if they weren't straight edge.
Yeah.
Like it was everything. So I get, yeah.
Yeah. And that's, you know, the thing for me, it's like, you know, like you go like, oh, they're excuses and that, but you don't, for me, it's like, you don't need to make excuses, you know.
It's
and
more, I think, like you saying to me before, like about like, you know, sorry, fucking, I'm moving around here.
No, you're right, bro.
You know, the straight edge sort of scene or community thought when I personally said that I was not edge, you know what I mean? It's a weird thing to think about, you know what I mean? Like, but I felt like I owed that to everybody that knew me as that.
Yeah.
And that's why they came to me.
Yeah.
You know, even the other day, like, he's a good cunt too. Like, he's come a couple of times and got tattooed, but he wanted me to do a straight edge tattoo on him. And I was like, bro, you know I'm not edge anymore, eh? And he's like, yeah, I don't care, man, you know? Like, and I'm like, fuck. Like, almost making me a bit, like, fucking upset because I was like, if that was me back in the day, I would have gone, what the fuck? What do you mean? You sold out? You know what I mean? Like that. Have no, and then this cunt's giving me this sort of like, nah, man, it doesn't matter. It's for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, like when I was like this was for fucking every cunt. If you didn't fucking do it, I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Like a fuckwit. But anyways, I learned, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I think I needed to be taken down a couple of pegs. I wish it didn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
But that's how it was, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not going to say that I haven't tried other fucking things here and there since not being edge just because it was a thing that I could do because there was no title attached to me anymore. And to be honest with you, 90% of them, not for me.
Yeah.
I don't go out, I work, I go home, I want to be with my missus. I don't want to fucking, like, I don't like drinking. I hate alcohol, it makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I'm prescribed weed, ridiculously enough, like that happens now. But like, for legitimate reasons, like the reason that I actually got prescribed the weed was because I wanted to stop taking the Xannies.
Yep.
And it helped a lot.
Yeah, nice.
And it does help. I can't sleep for shit, bro.
Yep.
Like, fucking, when I smoke, like, I can sleep.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but other than that, bro, like, really, like, my mentality and the way that I, you know, fucking live, it's not that much different, bro. Really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because, like, I don't like fucking feeling out of control, bro. Like, I feel like that enough fucking sober.
Well, that's a funny thing because I always think like, and I don't think I would ever break edge, but, you know, like, for whatever reason, like, you know, like you're still the same person. You're still you. You know,
yeah, that's right. A lot of people don't see it like that, though. As you would know, like saying like what people were saying, which actually I'm curious. What?
Well, it was like not like it was nothing crazy.
Yeah,
it was more just like from my perspective, you know, it was like because obviously I didn't know any of this background. In the whole,
no one they know, fucking now, but
and
other than my close mate, not people.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean.
That's the thing that I think everyone forgets is like, you know, I remember someone messaged it to me and I saw you just posted it and it was like, it went from like Stevie Edge to like,
Stevie,
and it just ended, you know, and so like, you know, and I saw stuff online and I talked to other straight edge people and I was like, fuck, you know, like it's crazy, you know, like well, in my mind, because it was like,
me, bro. Yeah.
It was like, well, in a way, like how you're saying with the religion, it's the equivalent to someone who's like staunch religious and then suddenly they're not.
They're not,
you know,
right?
and
it's hard. It's weird because it's hard. It's weird to the community, but as somebody that has been on one side of it and is now on the other side of it, it was fucking weird for me.
Yeah.
It was fucking weird for me because, like I said, I know that people can make a choice and I respect that too. It's up to the individual. But I didn't feel like it didn't feel like it was a choice.
Yeah.
And again, to anyone fucking listening, I don't want it to sound like a fucking excuse because it's on me. Yeah. I made the decision. I pulled the pin. I did what I'd done to change things. You know what I mean? But it wasn't something I wanted.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I wanted. It's not something I want now.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that I find necessary to deal with certain aspects of how I am.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't like going out partying.
Yep.
I will never ever in my fucking life touch fucking cocaine. It's fucking rubbish. And every drug on the street these days is full of fucking shit, bro.
Yeah.
And it's so dangerous, man. And fucking like, whatever. Do whatever, man. Like, there's no judgment from me. It's more from a thing of fear.
Yeah.
Because I've known that many cunts that have died or OD'd accidentally.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, bro. You can't even be fucking safe with prescription shit if someone's getting it off the street.
Yeah.
You know, so not being edge wasn't like this big party. Like, oh, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. Like, not straight edge anymore. I'll fucking buy a fucking ounce of Coke and dump my head in like I'm fucking Scarface or something. Nah. It was just like fucking life fucking beat me.
And I get that, man, that like, you know, like the weight of feeling like you owe people stuff or, you know, like you need to be a certain person for other people.
Fucking oath, man.
That's, you know, that weighs on you. And even though it's, you know, like lots of people might not even know about straight edge and stuff like that and they're hearing about it for the first time, you know, within the community, you know, like it's almost like an identity in a way, you know, and
massively.
Yeah. And
you lose that. And when you sell out, you lose, you feel like you lose that.
Yeah. So that's like, mate, like, you know, from my perspective, it's like I was always just so interested to hear the background if you were happy to talk about it and all that sort of stuff. And
bro, like, you know, previously I wouldn't have been because like me with all the mental health shit and that, like it's more prevalent these days that people talk about it and they're sweet with it. But like the way I grew up, and I think the way a lot of us grew up was like, fucking don't be a pussy, you know what I mean? Like fucking harden up. Like that type of shit. And there's still a big part in me that's like that deep down, but I know it's fucking wrong because I know how hard it was to go and get the fucking help and admit it to someone, let alone saying it now, admit it to fucking my missus. I didn't want to tell my fucking mum and dad, you know, that type of thing. Because I was like, what the fuck? Like this wasn't a thing when I was a kid. But I got taken to the doctors at 8 years old, bro, and they fucking said anxiety and depression. 8.
Yep.
Just is what it is, bro. That's life. It happens, you know what I mean? But, like, yeah, I don't know. It's fucking, I don't know. It's a weird fucking thing, but it's, I wouldn't have really explained all of that before because I thought it made me look like a weak cunt.
Nah, I think
it's a psych's office, bro. I realised you're not a weak cunt because this is fucking some hard shit. You know what I mean? Like, so I was good after that.
Yeah. Well, I think like, you know, like, and I've never spoken. Well, I have. It was on national television. I cried on national television, but it's like I definitely think, you know, like young males and stuff growing up, and regardless of your background, you know, it's I didn't think we'd be talking about the mental health thing on here and stuff like that, but it's like you know, like seeing people and talking about it and stuff. It's like, you know, and I've been to a psychologist when I was going through all the end of footy stuff and all that sort of stuff. So, they're like, oh, mate, when I sent you the message saying, like, would you be interested in coming on and talking? And I didn't know where it would go or whatever. And I half was thinking you just write back saying, like, fuck off, couldn't be bothered.
No, it's never that, bro. If I had said no, it would literally have been because I was fucking panicking and didn't want to, I couldn't hack it.
But,
you know what I mean? Like, but
I really appreciate you coming on and,
happy to.
You know, like with the podcast, me and Bella didn't really have any plans of where it was going to go, like who was going to be on. And, this was just like an opportunity that came up and I thought like, fuck, like you don't often get to hear, you know, like ask the questions to the people that you've looked up to for a long time and have the, you know, the discussions. I really do appreciate you coming on and.
Oh no, I appreciate it too, bro. Yeah, no, thank you. Fucking. As this has become apparent, I could talk shit for days, but I appreciate it.
Yep.
And the kind words and everything, you know, like it does mean a lot. And like, fucking. Is it alright if I fucking say a few people?
You can say whoever you want.
Because I know we're wrapping up, but like I've already mentioned, obviously Chad and Jacob, you know, but you know, even getting a start at my first shops, and like, there's a few people whose names I won't even mention, but like they did put, we've probably since fallen out, but they put effort into me, you know what I mean? Robert Bell, I don't know if you know, he's in Melbourne again. He was in Sydney for a long time.
He's working at Grey Street now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even him, he was mates with Jacob back then, and they were both very fucking good to me. Chad, obviously, like, he helped me fucking massively. You know, a couple of fucking people that are not even, like, around anymore, bro, like, they fucking dead, but that, like, again, helped a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people that I worked with in the street shop when I started, you know, Trish and fucking Sam, he's fucking rest him. And fucking, you know, there's so many people, man, that, like, maybe even don't get that recognition we were talking about of these tattooers in this fucking level, right? But they're fucking solid cunts, you know what I mean? And they put time into a fucking kid starting doing this shit that they didn't have to fucking care, you know what I mean? So, like, fuck, honestly, I'm probably fucking forgetting people, but, like, you know, anyone that had me do guest spots back then, Bugsy, fuck, okay? So Australian tattooing now would not be fucking even close if for Bugsy and Stacey Ann had been tattooing internationally. When they come back, what they brought back is why we have what we fucking have now. And I don't care who fucking disagrees with me. That is how it is, because I was fucking there when it happened. Doesn't matter what any old cunt says, I'm telling you, that's what fucking happened. They can take it for themselves and that's all good. They can say that, but I'm telling you, the effort that they put in and what they brought back to Australia and just being mates to me and getting tattooed and fucking meeting, not knowing each other, but meeting and fucking da-da-da. Bro, like, and then, you know, and then just, like, even just the people that have taken time in a small way, bro, like, to fucking, you know, even yourself, like, just saying nice stuff or whatever, that means a lot, you know what I mean? And when people fucking take that for granted, bro, pack it in. Pack it in. When you think you're fucking too good and you fucking made it, stop, fucking go work at Macca's, bro, you know what I mean? Because without these cunts and without the fucking customers, you know, like, in tattooing, don't mean shit. You know, so, and we're lucky to do what we do.
I agree.
And those people gave it to me.
Awesome.
So fucking,
All right. Well, thank you very much to everyone who listened. Super interesting chat and something that will be a memory in my tattoo career for a long time. So, yeah, thank you, Stevie, for coming on.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Thanks for having us all at Hunter and Fox. And
anytime at all.
Tune in next week and we'll have something for you. This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia.